Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Friday, February 7th. Jacksonville Jaguars fans, your 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars coaching staff has been finalized. And we're going to talk about that here. Predicted that it would be finalized today, Friday, February 7th. And it has been. And so we're going to talk about all the names. We're going to talk about what Liam Cohen has to say about this coaching staff first. He says, what I really like about this staff, and this really began to shape in the last few days, is that we already speak the same modern, keyword there, modern, NFL language. He says, we each have remarkably similar backgrounds, coaching influences, and innovative offensive or defensive concepts. With this shared terminology, we can accelerate past the standard learning curve that most staffs face and instead prioritize installations on offense, defense, and special teams. I'm excited to get started. That should excite Jags fans, right? I mean, talking about modern NFL language, talking about similar backgrounds, but more importantly, coaching influences in innovative offensive or defensive concepts, talking about understanding each other's terminology. We can accelerate past the standard learning curve that most staffs face and instead prioritize installations on offense, defense, and special teams. Wow. Exciting stuff there from Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen. He's certainly confident, right, in this staff that he's put together. We're going to talk about it. A lot of the names we've already talked about. Offensive coordinator Grant Udinski, unbelievably young, promising young offensive coordinator, right? Defensive coordinator Anthony Campanile. We've talked about him. He preaches the universal language of kicking some ass. I love it. Special teams coordinator Heath Barwell sticks around. Great special teams coordinator who has great specialists to work with. Pass game coordinator is Shane Waldron, has the Liam Cohen connection from the Los Angeles Rams, and obviously coached the Bears and the Seattle Seahawks as well as an offensive coordinator. Quarterbacks coach Spencer Whipple. Offensive line coach Sean Serrett, I believe is how you pronounce that last name. Not 100% positive on that one, but he has been an assistant offensive line coach for the Vikings and Chargers the last couple of years, was the offensive line coach in Pittsburgh before that. Look, Pittsburgh, they kind of ran through a lot of different offensive line coaches. I'll tell you what, offensive line coaches, they do a lot better when they have talented offensive lines. And you're seeing that in Pittsburgh now that they have actually addressed the offensive line in a big way via the draft. Yeah, I mean, getting fired from Pittsburgh when you don't have a whole lot to work with, I'm not going to hold that against him. So he's going to be your offensive line coach, and that's going to be huge. Offensive line is going to be huge. They need to be coached up well. They need to have better talent, right? Okay. Wide receivers coach is Edgar Bennett, who's actually from Jacksonville, former NFL running back. Remember him back in the day, in the 90s. Talented guy. He's actually been an offensive coordinator in Green Bay, spent a lot of his career as a coach in Green Bay, but he's going to be the Jaguars wide receiver coach. Very interesting there. Tight ends coach Richard Angulo. He sticks around from the former regime. Solid dude, and played football in Jacksonville, so that's great. Running backs coach Chad Morton, we've talked about. Offensive pass game specialist John Van Dam comes over from Tampa. That's the one guy from Tampa that Liam Cohen was able to get because he was on an expiring contract. Assistant wide receivers coach Tyler Tettleton, assistant running backs coach 2022, and assistant wide receivers coach 2023 to present. Tyler Tettleton. All right, so Matt Edwards, defensive line coach, comes over from Buffalo. Tem Lukabu, linebackers coach. He coached under Jeff Hafley at Boston College, and obviously Jeff Hafley was the defensive coordinator for the Packers, where Anthony Campanile comes from. Defensive backs coach Anthony Perkins, secondary coach Ron Milas. What's the difference between those two positions? I do not know. We will find out. Assistant defensive line coach Derek LeBlanc, assistant linebackers coach Kevin Wilkins, assistant defensive backs coach Drew Lascari, defensive assistant Mario Gebarial, assistant special teams coach Luke Thompson, assistant to the head coach Jay Kaiser, assistant to the head coach Elizabeth Harrison. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars coaching staff. And so looking at Derek LeBlanc, 25 years of coaching experience, including 21 years of coaching at the collegiate level. And again, he's going to be the assistant defensive line coach. That was one of the names I didn't recognize. So you've got assistant defensive line, assistant linebackers, assistant defensive backs. You've got a secondary and a DB coach. You've got a defensive assistant. So no assistant OL, but you do have Sean Serrett at an offensive line coach, right? So this is a group that Liam Cohen's fired up about, mostly young guys. There is some veteran leadership here and there throughout this coaching staff, certainly, but a group specifically at offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams, high energy guys. Grant Udinski, big time energy, and a really smart young coach. Everything you hear about him is extremely positive coming out of Minnesota and around the league. Anthony Campanile, a guy that has a lot of connection points throughout the coaching resume with Liam Cohen. And then Heath Farwell, y'all know him very well already. So very exciting young coaching staff for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. We will continue to talk about this coaching staff throughout the offseason. Up next is getting that GM in place and then getting free agency going, getting the draft going, building out this roster for 2025. But you have the Jaguars head coach, Liam Cohen, Jaguars executive vice president, Tony Baselli. Now you got to get that GM in place so you have your football triumvirate. And then all three of those guys, as we keep mentioning, they have horizontal alignment and they each have a straight line to Jaguars owner Shad Khan. Really appreciate y'all tuning in and supporting the channel throughout this offseason. Have a good one.